What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another review. Today we are going to take a look at Lizard, just base, basically from Spider-Man No Way Home from Hot Toys, and it's like a 6-scale diorama base. I guess that's the official name for this, and you can still pre-order this. It's sold out at BigBadToyStore.com, but I'll put the link anyway. So let's take a look at the detail for this guy. I didn't do an unboxing. I mean, you know what you're gonna get. This base and then the I don't know, the canister, I suppose, I don't know what you call that, to heal reptile or lizard. Let's take a look at this guy right here. So this one retails, you know, it's pretty expensive. I think 180 at Big Bad I bought this, and it's for a base. It doesn't do anything special. It doesn't light up or anything like that, but it's a very cool looking base. I'm guessing this is the closest that you would get to Lizard in a Hot Toys format. Let's take a closer look on the base itself. So you can see this rock diorama piece. You have those like electrical piece, you know, like I don't know, thunder or whatever the case is. You got some metal beams, and you can see the scale of Lizard. It's pretty well sculpted and nicely painted. The eyes could use some work. The teeth is nicely done with his tongue. Nothing is articulated in Lizard. Not the wrist, not the head sculpt. Because I remember there's a like a diorama piece where you can move the head sculpt at least. It's like a separate ball joint. This is not. It's like a one piece, I would say, kind of like a vinyl figure. Beautifully painted, as you can see here. You can see the scales. There's a lot of texture into Lizard. There's the shiny part where his scales are at on the back, so you can see some shine paint going on there. While at the neck area, you can see a little bit of dirt, some black wash going on there. So that is nice. This floating, I want to say floating rocks. I'm guessing they're up in the air. That's kind of like what is being suggested here, because of this, you know, like yellow, I would say, discharge from an electric circuit, possibly from electro. And on the back here, very muscular back by Lizard. He lifts, man. He does his back work, and you can see there the stones and the rocks, you know, venturing together. And here he is with his shoulders and his biceps. Look at that. And he's reaching. He's like he's reaching for that canister. And at the bottom here, you got some rocks. You know, everything is nicely done. And this thing right here, you can take it off, and that exposes the where you put the rod, basically, for, you know, for the dynamic pole stand, if you choose to do so. It's I'll show you, you know, if Lizard is attached there, and you can see like a metal pole or a bar right there. But once Lizard is attached, it's kind of hard to position Spider-Man with that dynamic pole stand, and you can remove him. And as you can see here, somebody should made like a legs for him, so we can have, because I remember back then with Hulk, the Age of Ultron Hulk, there's a third-party company that made some legs for him, so you could utilize the upper body of Hulk. They should do the same thing, kind of 3D printed the lower body. He doesn't need to articulate, and I'm just doing a comparison here with the stand of Spider-Man again, which is Molten Man. They're pretty much the same pose, not the same height. Now, Molten Man actually does light up. Lizard does not. But you know, that just shows you. It depends on someone if they're gonna find this Lizard unnecessary or expensive for what it is. But you can see Molten Man here. But Molten Man has two options as well as far as lighting him up. There's this, and then there's the option 2 where it kind of pulsates. But yeah, Lizard doesn't do that, and he's a lot more expensive than this. And now let's put some poses in here. Let's put him to good use. So here he is right next to Amazing Spider-Man 2, and they're trying to grab that canister out there, you know, trying to save him. But I didn't even use the pole because you can't create a good angle when you put that pole in his back. It only, I would say, work if Lizard is not in the picture, which you could still use this base. For example, here with Whiplash, I just used him because of the electric, currency behind it. But yeah, you remove him, you still have this rock base, and it still looks pretty awesome. You could, for photography wise, you see that little kind of like plastic, but if you position it nicely, especially on photography or whatever it is that you're trying to do, it still does work. It looks like he's standing on a rubble of rocks or whatever. So it works for him. Again, it could work for a Jedi, whatever, right? Like, I just want to use kind of like the rocks beneath him just kind of lifted up because he's so fast. So that's kind of like the scene I was trying to convey here. But yeah, you can that you could use him for different characters and different figures, not just for Lizard or Spider-Man. So for that price, you should be able to do more than what it's doing. But yeah, honestly, diorama pieces are expensive. I know, I started dabbling into them. And my final thoughts on this guy: if you are a Spider-Man fan, like a No Way Home fan, I think it's a must-have. Well, you know what? I'm gonna take that back. It's really not a must-have, but it's nice to have, right? Like, if you're short on space, don't do it. It's really expensive. It's almost $200 after taxes and all that stuff. Is it pretty? Of course it is, especially for a sucker for a diorama like myself. I love having this, and the versatility it brings. I could use him in different figures to create different scenes. Now, with that being said, this is like sold out now or waitlisted. Should you go out of your way to acquire him? You don't need to. But again, if you're into that photography, because displaying it takes up space. You can barely use the dynamic stand in the back. You could do it. Maybe I didn't play around with it a lot more, but I think you could do more with just whatever character it is, jumping in the air in a separate stand. But the quality is there, the functionality is there, but even I must admit it's, kind of expensive. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Are you gonna pick this up? Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.